We'll welcome anybody else sharing their experiences with new products, new software, whatever. JJ?
Okay.
A man who needs no introduction.
A man who needs no introduction. I like that. Okay, just before I walked up here, Bobby approached me and talked about how many new toys do I have? I usually get maybe 1 or 2 a month. But this one I'm going to talk about is my recent toy that I've added to my toy box. And I think we talked about backing up our information. I'm really dedicated to backing up information. I know our old friend Robin, who was really into backing up everything, making sure she had 2 computers in 2 different places and everything was already backed up. But being a photographer and videographer, I needed a lot of space to back up and hold a lot of my information. So my newest toy actually is a hard drive that's recently purchased. What's new in my toy box? Okay, what is new in my toy box is called a Drobo. Drobo is a hard drive company that's been around since about 2011. At the present time, I have about 5 Drobo drives in my house. I have over 100 terabytes of drive. Okay, perfect. As I said, as a photographer, I need a lot of space to back up video and photos. And Drobo, this Drobo here is a directly attached drive. They make drives that are network drives, but this one I just recently bought was a network attached, so directly attached to my computer that I use most of the time.
Introducing Drobo 5C, world's first self-managing USB-C storage solution, built with Beyond RAID technology, guaranteed a fast, simple experience. Set up in less than 10 minutes. Welcome to the world of Drobo 5C. Advanced USB-C connection port on Drobo. 64 terabyte volume size for plenty of storage space. Increased capacity is needed. Reading drive status is as easy as reading a traffic light. The lights on front will show you health of system and utilized capacity. Why Drobo 5C? Files are becoming larger. Cloud storage is a costly option for big data. Hard drives will eventually fail. Drobo 5C is perfect for all workflows. Home desk setup, creative workflow, small office, the best storage experience ever. Simple, safe, smart. Now available on drobostore.com or with Drobo partners.
Basically here we're talking about self-management. Once you set your drive up, you don't have to do anything to it. It manages itself. All you got to do is add the hard drive that you need for it, and it essentially takes care of everything you need. The new Drobo uses a USB-C type connection in the back. This is a new type of C drive coming out. There's, I know the new Apples are coming out. A lot of computers are coming out with the C type USBs. So this makes it a little faster in transfer. This computer has 5 bays. This is the back of it. You can see with the little C port in the back. And it has 5 bays. Like I said, it comes completely empty, and you can add any size hard drive you want. When I started out with this new system, I bought 2 4 terabit drives. Right now, I think I got 3 in there at least. We use what's called a Beyond RAID. Some of you may be familiar with RAID systems. And RAID is just a redundant system that backs up information with 2 or more drives. Well, Drobo uses this technology called Beyond RAID, and it does the same thing, but with Beyond RAID, the main thing, or the best thing about it, is that if any drive fails, especially if I had 4, you don't have to worry about a thing. Just pull that drive out and replace it. You don't lose nothing. You don't have to reset the system or anything. It'll sit there and reset all your information by itself and just keep on trucking. As I said, quick and easy setup. Take off the cover, put in your drives, put the cover back on, power it up, and you're off and running. As I said, this system can use up to 64 terabits of hard drive space. I know back in the days we were talking about, do I need a terabit of space? When I bought my first Atari, it was 48K. Then it went to 64K. Then it went to megs, and now we're up to terabits. So as you start collecting data, photos, videos, and everything, you need more space. So this is one of the reasons why you might get something like this to keep adding space. The configuration you see right now, I have a mix of 3 drives in it, of 4 terabit, 6 terabit, 8 terabit. Now, if you go on the Drobo site, what they allow you to do is configure your system to what size drives you put in it and how much space that will have. And really, it's really easy to use because on the website, all you do is drag the figure from the bottom up into the drive space, and you configure the size of drive that you need. It's sort of a drag and a spec. Once you put the drives in there, they come out the bottom and tell you how much space, how many photos, movies, documents, that much terabits or that many terabits can handle. Okay, let's try here again with 4, 6, and 8. We're going to change that to 4, 5, 8-bit drives. As you see, I have 29 terabits available. Now I can handle over 2 million photos, 1,300 movies, and then a whole bunch of documents. But all this is telling you once you configure and put the drives in and tells you how much data you can save to it. They also have a chart that tells you what drives you can use for what you're using the Drobo for. Whether you're using it for backup, bulk storage, file sharing, whatever. Then it tells you what type of drive they suggest. Most of my drives are Western Digital red type drives because I'm basically using it for file sharing and storage. But all these charts are on the Drobo website. They help you configure your drive. Okay, redundancy. Here you put 1 drive in, but you don't have the backup redundancy. Put 2 drives in, you have the dual drive redundancy. And like I said, it shares information across 2 drives, so you're always safe. Protection. Power failure, what happens? Your drive goes dead. What happens to your data that's being transferred at that point in time? You don't lose it because the battery backup within the drive keeps your data flowing so you don't lose any data that's being transferred at the time of your power failure. So that's another good thing about the 5C. This graphic shows you what all the lights on the drive tells you. Well, at the bottom, you see the blue lights at the bottom tells you how much space, percentage-wise, that all your drives are covered. Like I think we can have 5 or 3 or 4, so I'm going to talk 40% capacity. The side lights on the right-hand side, if the drives are working great, they're all green. Now I said I had a failure in one of my drives about a month ago. So that top drive started flashing red. I didn't lose any data. All it's telling me to is replace that drive. So I ordered another drive. A couple days later I got it, stuck it in there. Drobo went through the process of reconfiguring my data across all the drives I had, and I'm up and running. Didn't lose anything, didn't lose any time. And here again, the light on the bottom right-hand side is telling you data being transferred. So this drive, I said, like I said, self-managing. Lets you do anything you want, you never lose anything, and highly recommend it for photographers. Going through the setup process on the Drobo site is going to ask you how many drives you need, how you plan on using it, how many terabits you need, and your ideal storage. As I said, when you buy it from Drobo, they'll walk you through the steps you need, tells you what type of drive you need. Okay, if you go to Drobo's website, the charts that I already showed you, which is the calculator, the drive selections, and the Drobo management, that will show you videos of those particular problems. This is the dashboard. As I said, I have 5 Drobo drives. The only one you don't see here is the one I have hooked up to my Plex media system. That's my movie system at home. That one is hooked up to my network, and I have approximately over 1,000 movies on it. The two F and FS2 are my network drives. The FS, or the Pegasus 409 is also a network drive, which I just recently bought a couple of months ago. So I'm slowly moving data to that because it's seen across the whole network. The FS is the first one, is the one I'm getting rid of and slowly migrating. I've had it for over 11 years, and that's the one I had the bad drive on recently. And if you get a chance later on, you can come and see what these things look like, what the drive will look like on the front table. You get status lights. So whatever drive you click on, it tells you how many drives are in there. It shows you what size the drives are, and it tells you the drives are in good condition. As I said, this is a very smart system. Yes?
To go backwards in time, this functions as an uninterruptible power supply?
No, it doesn't. If you lose power to the drive, you don't lose data being transferred. You still have to put it on a USB backup power supply. Okay. All right? It just doesn't lose any. If you have a power outage, it doesn't lose any data that's being transferred at a point in time. You're on your computer doing something, so that data being moved is not being lost because it's in a cache at that point in time, which you have the battery backup.
Okay.
Okay? So you see here, this is the Texas photo. This is the one that's directly hooked up to my computer right now. I only have 3 4 terabit drives in there, and I'm slowly moving information to this one here. This has all of my photos and videos on it. You also get a graphic representation of how much drive space is being used and how much you have free. And you see the bottom left-hand side, there's only 3 drives in there. The lights are green, so it's in good condition. You can also set up volumes. This is like setting up folders if you want to. Right now I only have one folder, one main folder set up on this drive. But if I wanted to, I can call that photo documents, photos, graphics, whatever. I can add folders to it, but I just rather keep this one drive right now, one folder, one volume. Other things here about tools. Drobo has a lot of tools that you add to your drives. One of the tools allows you to access your drive from your phone. The other tool I have on my one media drive, which allows me to use Plex entertainment system and access it from anywhere. And the tools, you can turn the lights up and down. What else I got here? Reset, format the drive. In this portion here, drive settings, this is where you go in and rename your drive, so I call it Texas Photos, that's the name of my base, my company. At the bottom, you see the sliders where you can, there's a slider like a dimmer, you can dim the lights on it, which are too bright for you, whatever you have it at, you can dim the lights at the bottom. And here, in dashboard preferences, automatic check for updates. If Drobo puts out an update, it'll automatically check for updates and update the computer, actually updates your dashboard. Gives you all the information you want. And this last one, I think, preferences, you can set up, if you have a problem with your drive, it will send you an email alerting you of the problem. If you have low drive space, you have a failure in one of the drives, or whatever it may be. If it detects this problem, Drobo will send you an email telling you have a drive problem. Drobo Care Like anything else, there's a warranty and there's a package, service package. If you get the Drobo care for it, they'll replace the drive. I've only had to contact Drobo one time. I had a drive problem, and within 20 minutes online with them, the problem is fixed. Okay? I think I'm paying about $120 for a lifetime, 3 years, something like that, for their service pack. But like I said, I got these drives and I had a lot of data that I want backed up. Backup, which we talked about earlier. Although I have almost 100 terabits of hard drive in space, between 5 drives, everything is backed up, but where do you want to back it up to? On the cloud. I think Bobby introduced us to Carbonite a few years ago, right Bobby? I was using Carbonite for a while, matter of fact for a couple of years. But recently I switched to one called BleachBit, another cloud-based backup system. And BleachBit. BleachBit basically takes any drive that I have on my system and backs it up to cloud. I think they charge about $5 a month for cloud backup. And you can go on your website and see how it's backed up. And as we were talking about earlier, testing your backup, you can go onto BleachBit, test your backup, tells you how much information has been backed up. And one of the good things about BleachBit, if a drive goes down completely, you call contact BleachBit, and they will send you all your information on a portable hard drive for a fee. Pricing, yes, it is expensive. On Amazon, the 5C runs about $280. On B&H, it's $349, and get a rebate for $199. This is just the bare bone drive. Then you have to add your own hard drives to it. So it is a rather expensive system, but for me, I've been using it since 2011 or 2010, or 2011, or somewhere thereabouts, and I've had very little problem, to almost no problem with these systems. Yes?
How much do the individual drives cost?
Depending what size you want. I'm paying about I want to say $40 for a 4 terabit. The one drive that I have that's my media drive, I got 8 terabits in there. And each one of those is costing about $204 for each for an 8 terabit drive. And that's my media system. And that's somebody's at my front door right now. That's my Ring doorbell going on. Okay. Okay, 5C second generation. As I said, I have 5 8 terabit drives. I use a Plex system. My Plex system right now for my media system. This is one of my other drives. I have over 1,000 movies, 55,000 audio music, and about, that should be not megs, that's not megs, that should be, megs. 2.5 megs of photos. That's over 20 or more years of photos. As I said, I use the Plex entertainment system for my entertainment. And conclusion, overall, I'm very happy with this purchase. It's fast, easy to set up, works like a typical external hard drive, and provides me with all the storage I need. Thank you for listening. Any questions? Yes. Questions? Yes.
Do you have any process to get rid of things?
Delete?
You know, it's like you live in a house for 40 years and you fill up every square inch of stuff, and just because you can.
Yes.
And obviously you can store stuff here forever, but do you have any process or tool you use to go back and say, what can I get rid of?
You talk about digital stuff?
Yeah.
You have to go to each individual folder, look at stuff that you don't need. I have, for example, my scanner presentation I've been getting, I have the Fuji scanner. Anything that comes across my desk with my name on it, bills, whatever, it's scanned. So I have bills from 2002 on there. Do I still need them? Okay, then I have to go back to the 2002 folder and delete that folder. Okay. So I keep stuff, you know, like all my income tax stuff, Once I get it back from my preparer, I scan it all, so I got a digital copy of all my income tax stuff. And I might want to keep that, okay? Several years or whatever you want to. But you have to go back into the individual folders themselves and delete what you don't no longer need. All right? Yes. As far as photos concerned, for example, Mike may ask me for a photo from our picnic from 1984. Give me about 10 minutes, I'll go find it. Okay? I have all my photos organized like that. 1984 LCACE, whatever, I'll find something for you. But that stuff like that, I'll keep. Yes, Bobby?
Can you look at what's on these different drives? Or did I miss that?
Can you look?
Yeah, can you see what you have on each drive?
Yes, it opens up just like the drive on your computer. Yeah, all it is an external drive. It just opens up just like you have on your computer, so you can look and see what's on there. It's not encrypted or anything. It's not scrambled, not zipped up, unless you zip the file yourself. But as long as it's on that drive, whether it be on your network or this one here, like here I said, directly connected to my computer, I can just open up the folders that it's in, open it up, access it, use it. Like this presentation is on that drive right now. That's where I created it at. So once I created it and finished it, I copied it over to my other computer here, and I brought it here for the meeting. But yes, anything that's on there here, you can go look up and find. Yes, Fred?
Do you have plans or you already use some tool to clean your disk drive when you retire?
Yes, it's called daughter. It's called my daughter. Yeah, she inherits all this stuff. She can do what she wants with it.
You don't have to worry about that at this time.
No. But your cloud-based, she has access to the numbers and everything for all my cloud-based stuff, so she can get that access to clean it, whatever, delete it, all my accounts.
Now, I'm thinking about the opposite, where you don't want access to it anymore.
On the hard drives or on the clouds?
On the hard drive, any place that you have responsibility of your data,
If you go into
you
your...
retire a hard drive, the data is still on the hard drive unless you do something.
Yes, but as I said, when you go into the dashboard, it has format. Format.
That's what you would use.
You can, format it. And delete it. It's easier than to delete it. Just format the whole drive, everything's gone. That's what, I don't have any, no. Bobby?
Those pathways, keep track of all of those separately, and does it cost more to add the pathway?
No, it doesn't cost any more. As it is in folders, it can't updates or upgrades or uploads everything as it is on your computer. So you can actually go into Backblaze and look in the individual folder and find your stuff and download this which you need from Backblaze if that's the case. Yes?
There's a program called BleachBit that if you want to, formatting a drive won't get rid of the data on it. It'll just go to the directory of the drive and say, well, you're not, this file isn't there anymore, and that file isn't there. But if you want to make it unreadable, you have to use something like BleachBit.
Yes.
And that will what it does is overwrite multiple times the data that's already there. But first you have to delete it, and then BleachBit says, hey, this is empty space, and then it makes sure that there's no readable data in it.
The other way is basically take the drive, take a sledgehammer to it, or put a magnet on top of it. Which we had to do on work a couple years ago to read all our stuff. We magnetize everything. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know the county uses a drill.
Yes.
It's drill through.
Yeah, drill through. Once you drill through the data plate here, then it's unusable. You can't get data off of. Other questions? Yes.
Does that look like one huge drive, or if you're looking for files on it, is it one 50 terabit drive, or?
Well, if you look at your C drive on your computer, or whatever drive you save your data to, and all the folders you got, that's what it looks like, okay? When I go into my, excuse me, when I go into my Explorer, it's going to name the drive K, J, or whatever. So you open up K drive and you see all the individual folders that you have in that K drive. as you have folders on that or whatever, access it as, just like any other drive. So,
it doesn't consider that one big drive.
yes, it does, in a way it does. Yes, it does.
You get to it both ways.
Yeah, but you can open it up like it is one great big drive. But like I said, all my data is spread across how many ever drives I have in there. So I don't lose anything. And as one drive goes bad, as I say, pull that drive out, put a new one in there, nothing is lost. Because of the way it reconfigures everything.
So they're virtual volumes then?
Yes. Yes.
I like to use a dot command to print my directory file. This is underneath Windows. Is DOS have anything to do with?
Well, since you go into DOS through Windows or Mac, yeah, you see it the same way. I know we used to use DOS directories and DOS batch files quite a bit when I was working. Yeah. So if you go into the DOS commands, you see it, you just put in DOS, change directory, / whatever, you'll find it.
And how do you spell the name of the program which actually could read?
Did what?
Not just the functions, the actual content of the files, but
Oh, BleachBit. It was in the news,
it is?
couple, well, like that.
Just like it sounds.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that available on Windows?
BleachBit, it's,
LCACE?
yeah.
Cynthia, is that what you wanted?
The BleachBit, but I'm slightly hard of hearing, so I
Yeah.
don't know how to spell it.
Okay, I got it. Bleach bit.
BIT.
I just downloaded, it's free, by the way, in case anybody. Yeah.
If you want a free program, talk to Lester.
I just downloaded.
Mr. Freebie.
And the reason I got it is because I have an old computer, I have a couple of computers that I want to either give away or take to the recycling place. I really hate drilling holes in things, so. And besides that, I want to learn how to use this program. If you want to give away a hard drive and you want your data to be gone, that's what you want
Bleach
to
it.
use, something like that.
Yeah, bleach it.
Instead of a magnet, okay?
Yeah. That way the drive is still usable, but the data is gone. And that's what I want. That's what I was.
Yeah, the drive that had failed on me a couple of weeks ago when I replaced the one on this one here, and basically I did, I just took a hammer to it. Yeah. Beat the heck out of it. All right. Any other questions right now? Okay. If you want something a little smaller than a terabit, SanDisk just came out with these little SSD drives. I wrote an article on this, so I'm not going to really talk about it, but this article kind of got in the newsletter about these little SSD drive. That's a 500 gigabyte SSD drive.
SSD?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Solid state drive.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. They go up to 1 terabit. This is something new that SanDisk just came out with in the last couple of months. And like I said, it's size compared, not smaller, but it's something that I carry around with me. SanDisk. SanDisk. The company, yeah. They make the thumb drives and SanDisk, SanDisk.
Yeah, it's
Like the thumb,
version of the thumb.
it's a bigger version of thumb drives.
Just the same thing.
Same as that. Usually the thumb drives right now, the thumb drives right now are going up to about 250 something, but I think you get some bigger one thumb drives. But I usually carry this around with my laptop. Because the laptop right now has an SSD drive in it. And right now I got a 64 gig card inside of it. But if I want to carry around extra information, I can just command that. All right?
do you have an Apple iPad, the new one?
The one I got now is about 3 years old. The new Pro, it's going to be in my toy box soon. After I get back from vacation, after the union I get back from Tuscany. I'm not buying anything this year. What's that? What? What? You want to go Tuscany with us? Other than that, any other questions? All righty, thank you.
Anybody else have new toys, technology that they bought, like to share with people? George?
I just, a couple months ago, my monitor went out, and I did some research and wound up getting a ViewSonic 24-inch flat screen monitor. And one of the features on this particular monitor is that it comes with a built-in color calibration system. So if you're editing photographs, you can actually calibrate the monitor to match what you see on the monitor with what comes out on your printer. There are devices to do that, but this is built in. And it was kind of a pricey deal, and I went on the ViewSonic website, and they had this particular model refurbished. And so I wound up, I got it for, I think it was $159. And it's a great monitor. And along those lines, I read an article probably a couple of years ago by somebody who is one of the commentators on the computer scene. And his comment was that he never buys anything new in the box. He buys it always refurbished, even if he's buying it newly for himself. And his reasoning is that if it's refurbished, someone on this side of the ocean has actually looked at it and operated it and made sure that it meets all of the factory specifications, as opposed to someone on the other side of the ocean who may or may not care whether it works correctly or not. And so that was his recommendation. So I, was given that kind of advice, I was ready to spring for the refurbished monitor.
ViewSonic is a highly recommended monitor for photographers. I don't have ViewSonic. I have to use a Spider or a Huey calibrator on my monitor since I do a lot of video editing.
Right.
Yes, but video editing is one of the needs that you definitely need to do if you're editing photos. Like I said, I belong to Lake County Camera Club also, and we have competition 4 times a year. So one of the things you want to make sure is your monitor is calibrated, so when you print these photos out, they look the best. And that's what they're looking for competition, because these judges here, again, are really nitpicking, as far as color and backgrounds, especially blacks. Okay, they look for a true black, not a grayish black in your photo. So that's one of the things that calibrating your monitor does for you.
Thank you. Good point. Anybody else? New toys? David?
I've got a Raspberry Pi here. I don't know if anyone wants to see what they actually look like. I don't have anything to say about it though, except that I'm playing with it.
Okay. Now Lester has one that he's been playing with for a while, so you guys should compare notes.
Yes.
What is a Raspberry Pi?
It's a complete computer, except it's missing the
It's a computer
keyboard.
just that big.
It's a raspberry, not plum, not strawberry, but raspberry.
Yeah, it's a computer you can buy for, what, 35, 40 bucks?
Yeah.
It's a pocket computer.
Yeah.
The circuit board is $35 typically, but I bought mine. You probably bought yours. Did you buy yours in a kit? Because I see you got a box. Okay.
Yeah.
The kit that I bought was like, I think it was $62. It included the box, heat sink, because the processor gets a little bit warm, and there was some power supply.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you got to buy all that stuff yourself, but you can buy a kit and get
Power
all that
supply.
stuff ready to go. All you have to do is plug in like a USB keyboard and a USB mouse, or it has Bluetooth.
Just curious.
Does yours have Bluetooth?
It has Bluetooth, it has Wi-Fi.
Yes, so it has Bluetooth, so you can use a Bluetooth keyboard and a Bluetooth mouse, and it also has a
Four USB ports.
HDMI output into
On to
monitor.
3.0, I believe.
So, I've used it, it's not very fast.
Yeah.
But if you have a small task you want to do and you want to have the computer on 24/7, you use the
What
variable
they
power.
call a headless install, and then use keyboard and monitor.
Yeah, so there's fun stuff you can do with it.
I have another question.
Nothing yet.
Do you unplug your computer when you're gone all day? You never unplug your computer? Okay. Well, I was trying to save electricity, okay? So they tell you to unplug everything in your house. Okay?
Yeah.
So I did not unplug my computer. I just wondered if people do. Do you unplug your TV?
No.
It's like 50-50 whether people unplug it and turn off the computer or not.
Okay.
And it's been that way for years. I saw one just recently.
I got computers that
And
are
it still came out
24/7 for
to that.
years.
It doesn't necessarily save you
Okay.
this, that, and the other thing.
The reason I turn mine off is because there's always a fan sucking air through it, whether it's a laptop or a desktop, and that brings in with it dust.
Right.
And so you don't have to clean it as often if you power. I never unplug it because when you unplug it, you disconnect the ground.
Right.
And so it's, you know, it leaves it subject to the electrostatic discharge issue. So you always keep it plugged in, but I always turn mine off when I go to bed, or if I'm
Well, I
going to not
turn
be
mine
using it
off.
for
I
free
just
stuff.
don't unplug it. I'm
Basically,
afraid-
just one.
I don't want
And that Drobo's been running 24/7 for like 9 years or more. I had to dust it off a little bit before I brought it in.
What you can do is to get a power strip with an on-off button on it and plug in things. You know, you read these articles that this phantom powered drain that you have from all these devices that are powered on that you're not using. You can use power strips and just turn them off instead of unplugging them. It's not the
Well, I was going to tell about a program. There's also, if you've have the gas or electric company come into your house to tell you what's wrong with you do, and one of the things they give you is a power supply that one is you plug your computer in a specific one, and then it has some outlets at this end that keep going because your computer is going, because you're even, and at this end, if the computer's not there, but they don't work.
Okay.
And that's supposed to be power saving according to the electric company.
Okay.
And that's a free thing that
If you're concerned about, using electricity and being billed for electricity by these little tiny minor power drains, there's a device called Kill-Watt.
Yes.
It's hyphenated, and you can plug it into the wall, and then you plug your device into it, and it will tell you exactly how much is going through it. And so if you've got your device, and it will aggregate the usage. For instance, how much does my refrigerator use every day, every week? Okay, well, I can plug the refrigerator into this, plug it in the wall, and come back a week later, and it'll tell me that the refrigerator used so many kilowatts of electricity. And I forget how much it was, but it's like maybe $20 or $30, if I remember right.
Somewhere thereabouts. I bought a couple of them several years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that expensive, and it enables you then to know what's going on.
It's called killing what?
Kill
Yeah.
hyphen A
Yeah.
hyphen Watt.
Okay.
I used to, 20, 30 years ago, I worked as a non-tech at a software house, and most of the people there kept their PCs on. In particular, I remember a PhD, because he said that turning it off on
Power surge.
Power surge or something. But with me, my PC is really old, so I have an extra fan, and I leave this side off and watch my desk. And I turn it off whenever I'm not using it, because it's gotten older. The heat sink doesn't seem to take care of the heat, it overheats, and that's one of the major reasons
You have an app. And I'm going to talk first about an app, a free app to make money doing absolutely nothing. Okay, so I have an app called Control My SMS. So it's control, it's all one word, control, MY, SMS. Okay, when I came to the meeting, I took a look at it, and I have made, since the beginning of the month, $7.98, I think. Okay, then about halfway through JJ's thing, I made $8.28, and now I have $8.40. All I was doing was sitting in a chair. I was using my cell phone, it's on, it's connected to wireless. That's the one thing I think it has to be connected to the internet in order to send you very bizarre messages. So I kept a few, I usually erase them pretty quick. Hello, how are you, MPOI? Those are the kind I've been getting today. Sometimes they have question marks and they have all sorts of very bizarre things that you wouldn't think were anything. Sometimes it might even look like a link, but if it doesn't make any sense, it's from them. So right now, I have $8.40.
What's going on?
And they pay me through PayPal or through my, doing nothing. It is a company that owns, I just decided to talk about it, so I have to look at my computer, the company, the head company, but they have lots of clients. And the clients send emails. And the clients want to know, are the people really getting their emails? So this is a way of telling the clients that the emails are arriving. And the longer you use it, the more you get. And my grandson is the one that told me about it. He gets money faster because he's been on it a couple, 3 months. But I'm getting between $5 and $10 a month for doing absolutely nothing. Yes?
Do you have to respond to each one?
No, you don't do anything.
Are you sure it's not?
I erased them.
So you never have to say, yes, I received it, no, I didn't?
I'll show it on my phone. I'm not doing anything. It's just, I have my phone, it's turned on, it's attached to the
How
internet.
does that tell them?
Pardon?
How does that tell them that
Because, well, for one thing, that it's based, I'm sure, on people getting money. And it's worth it to the overall company. But from my point of view, I don't really care what they're telling, as long as I am making money for doing nothing, because it's excess money in our pocket. So Howard, at the beginning of the meeting, had $1.68, and he just started after the beginning of the month, so about 5, 6 days.
Are you absolutely sure it's not a hack?
Pardon?
Are you absolutely sure it's secure and not a
Yes.
hack?
Yes, and I also am absolutely secure that they actually pay you, which some of the apps do not. They don't pay you with a card for Amazon that you need to have $20 worth of stuff. They actually transfer directly into your bank account. I see it. I get a note from PayPal telling me you have money, and I can leave it there in PayPal. I always take it out right away, because otherwise the PayPal might use that money in the account. The one thing you do need is a PayPal account, I think. That's the way I set it up for both places. Yeah, you probably have a PayPal account. I mean, PayPal account's a free item. So the other thing about it is, last month Phil talked about updating to the latest version, unless somebody else has a question, or they can talk to me about that.
I'm looking this up here, Control My SMS, just for Android, doesn't mention anything for
I
iOS.
believe it's for both, but I'm not positive.
It just says, get paid for receiving SMS on your Android phone.
I mean, it might just be for Android, but we all have Android. I mean, our family all has Android, so it works for us. If it doesn't work on others, I can't do anything for that. So, JJ talked a little bit about backup, and I still do use Carbonite, and I must say, when I
Did you hear what
had
she said?
issues,
Control my SMS.
since January, we've had issues.
And
Kind of a private thing, but anyway, our daughter-in-law walked out to the external drives of my son's computer, which had a lot of his files. At the same time, his computer crashed. And he brought the computer over to me, and I had a Windows 7 computer from maybe, I would say, knowing how old my laptop is, his is 10 years old. So we eventually bought a new computer and had Windows 10 on it. But how do we get all the information from all the computers? So I took out the hard drive and I used that little unit that I told about, I think, in January. And I started opening up hard drives and I used programs to transfer over all this wonderful information to this new computer. And I backed it up no, I did that with Carbonite. With Backblaze, because that's what his computer friend was talking about. And he got a kit back for Jim using it, and it was cheap. And at least for the 6 months we've been using it. And I also use iDrive, which the other day was $1 for a year's membership, like 4 terabytes, I believe. And so I got that for him. For a buck, I figured I'd spring. So anyway, I have done everything that can go wrong with computers has happened to the computers. And I got a couple computers that were fills. I have a few of my own. I had one that wasn't recognizing a wireless connection at all, although it was there. It was sticking in airplane mode. And so I know all sorts of ways to update Windows, including what I started back here for Fritz. So there's a lot of advanced ways that you try, and I tried all of them. Unfortunately, I tried each and every one. I also did a lot of conference calls with chats with Microsoft, which you could say everything you want. I've had lots of trouble with Microsoft in the past. But I'll tell you, they're there knowing that there are some people having problems with this upgrade. One computer upgraded, and I knew I had set the color of the screen, but I'm not seeing the screen. Like, what the blazes is this? So I contacted them and they said, oh, it must be in tablet mode. They said, I have a laptop, whatever made them with tablet mode. Well, I don't know why, but that computer thought it was a tablet, and I had to change that setting so that it wasn't. I did Backblaze, which I've been downloading, makes very big files. I can't even imagine if JJ did this. We got his files back through that system because both the laptop that I had gotten from Les, I decided to make it clean because it had partitions on it, and I hadn't noticed that. And the partition that was available didn't have enough room to put 1903 in. So okay, I can't play with this anymore. I will just wipe the computer clean and do a clean. So there's all sorts of different ways to do this program, to do the update, and I've tried them all. I know all the advanced ways of starting your computer and see if Does the restore work? Does the reset work, which is what I just started with Fritz's? I should have started it first. But restore, reset, my brain wasn't thinking and I was doing it quickly. Will bring back to health. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of my own computers. I have my son's new computer. I have a laptop that I'm setting up for him. It included 6 old computers that were no longer working. Let's see what else. I said Phil's and I said Lester's. So it maybe is 10 altogether that I've tried different systems and combinations of talking with chat. I like my iDrive backup because I can do all of my different items on it for one price. So, I mean, not all, if you have JJ's problem with terabyte upon terabyte upon terabyte, but if you have a terabyte drive and on several things, you have your phone, I have my phone, my notebook, my Kindle, we're all backed up to that. It's a pretty good system. That's right.
So when you installed Windows 10 on all these computers, did you do an upgrade so that you didn't have to reinstall software?
Okay, let's put it this way. I did an upgrade on some it worked, some it didn't.
But
Sometimes
the
there's
software was there after you upgraded.
yeah, just upgrading worked for some.
Because the notes I've seen said that Windows 10 won't let you do an upgrade.
Well, no, now they're having others. Also, if you chat, you say, okay, this is the problem I'm having, I just did it. At one of them I went to do, I think it was one of Phil's, that I went to do the upgrade the same way I had done the other unit, which looks very similar. And I did it, and they told me to use a flash drive. Well, evidently it forgot to turn off the flash drive, so it said, you can't do the update with flash drive. Well, of course you would do it. They told me to use the flash drive, but you know, it was when I did it the second time, it turned it off. So they must have changed that particular item right from the conversation. I must say, I do tell them if I have I mean, you always have new people. I do tell them that I'm very familiar with computers. I've been in them for 1,000 years, much longer than they've been alive. But some of them are surprisingly older. But the chat has worked so well, and they worked well with other problems that had to do with Windows that were not connected to the upgrade. And I mean, I was very pleasantly surprised. Yes.
You mentioned chat with Microsoft.
Yeah.
How did you access that?
That's one of the things I think I should write up. I think
Yeah.
and the other thing is in that chat, if you do a virtual chat, which I do most of the time because I want written, I want to know what they said. I don't want to not know, so I usually copy and paste it into a document before it closes. I also had one that was really interesting yesterday where they were having trouble with chat. And she actually called me and said, we're having trouble with chat, that's why you can't get back to us, why we're not reacting soon enough. And they cleared that up pretty well, but they too had trouble with their computers. So, as they say, wording is important in any chat, so one of it is I want to talk to a person. Talk to a person. They send you an email, it gives you a reference number for the chat, and it'll keep using it if you are the same person, which I was, for a number of different things, and they'll give you a new one if it's something different, like the person with the tablet issue gave me a new one. So that you can keep track it with these emails. So I I would really suggest an update. I mean, I found some good things that seems to be working faster. But I'm still recovering files from Backblaze for 2 computers, and it's extremely slow. Or at least way too slow for my patience, which has been going on for 6 months now. And
If you're mentioning doing an update,
yeah.
doesn't Windows 10 automatically update itself?
I don't have anything to automatically update. I want to make my choices, because if it automatically updates and I'm in the middle of something and it restarts, I'm a really unhappy camper. So I put in settings, which I talked about, I believe, a few months ago. I put something in settings so that it doesn't do an automatic, and I set up certain times. This is when I'm working on my computer. Please don't do it, and then I can tell them, yes, do it.
Because when I click on the start button, and it says sleep, shut down, and something else.
No, hibernate.
Hibernate. On the shutdown, it says either shut down or update and shut down.
Well, that's one of the options. I always put off hibernate. I've never been successful with hibernating, and sleep doesn't work very well for me either. I want it to be there. I don't want it to not know, like, with Fritz's computer here, we didn't know whether it was still on, whether it had died, whether the power wasn't working, because we didn't know enough about the computers. So I would like to know that when I press a little button, and my screen's going to come back up. So I do those settings too. Yes?
I didn't have anything.
Oh, I thought you had something to that.
Thank you, Bobby.
Welcome.
George,
What's
the
happening?
Windows 10 does automatically install security updates, the usual updates that you think of. For their semi-annual big upgrades, really,
Yeah,
they have started making it now optional.
If you want.
So
Sure, let me take it.
they will down this new latest one.
I don't know where you live, but
They will-
Copy.
They will download this to your computer and leave it up to you if you will install it. And you may choose not to install it at all, in which case it's version 1903 is the latest upgrade. 1809 was the previous one, which is what you're running right now. If you elect not to install 1903, the May upgrade, they will continue to send you updates for 1809. So I sent out a group email on this, a link to a How to Geek article that explains that. So if you look back through the emails, you'll probably find it. I also sent out one that included all the features in the new upgrade. So it's 20 pages long, I mean, lots of stuff. But just look for one of the LCACE group emails. Assuming you're still on our group email list, you should have that.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, well then, you need to see JJ, give him $20 and give me your email address, and we'll put you back on the email thing. But, yes, ma'am.
One fast question, I don't know if anybody can answer it or not. I like to use the DOS command prompt for like entering directories. And I know to use DOS key as the first command you enter so that you can repeat the previous command you put in. But I looked online and it seemed to be that you could copy text from Word or some other application and paste it onto the DOS command line by going to the top of the dialog box and finding the box on the menu. And anyway, I don't have that. I tried to follow the steps and get options, and does anybody know how to copy and paste text from one application into the DOS command line?
As long as it's in your clipboard, you should be able to do it.
It's not giving you the option to paste.
Right, it's giving me a control V instead of the content of the text.
Yeah, there's an option to set on the DOS prompt window. So when you go up to the top, where the bar is for the top of the dust front window, there's a settings option in there somewhere.
I'll go back and look, because
Okay,
I
the
think
settings option in there that says allow fast edit or something like that.
I think I
And
heard
I think that's what that's
Try
called,
again.
is fast edit.
Okay.
I'll look again.
One last, well, I'll make one last comment. I bought a new laptop here recently. I wanted a smaller one, a 14-inch one that I could put more computer stuff on and so on. And I found one over at Office Max. It's an HP for $369. It was a sale price. It was a Core i3 processor, which is, you know, Core i3, Core i5, Core i7 are sort of the lower power processor. But the good news is it came with a 128 gigabyte solid state drive instead of a regular hard drive. And it made all the difference in the world. It works just as fast as my Core i5 does on my desktop with a typical hard drive. So the solid state drive transfers data faster than your hard drive does, and it kind of offsets the lower power. Now, I haven't tried keeping 25 tabs open, which I wouldn't anyway. So it's just passing along that you're starting to see more computers coming out now with solid state drives built into them. You can get an external one like JJ showed you, but you can find it now. So if you're looking for a new computer, I would really recommend you start looking around for one that has installed solid state drive. It just
Would you
takes
repeat
a lot
that,
different.
that last part? I missed the last part. Look around.
For when you're considering buying a new computer, look for one that has a solid state drive, an SSD in it, instead of your typical 500 gigabyte or terabyte hard drive.
Yeah, let me just check again with you. I have an HP Hewlett-Packard 17.5-inch laptop. And it was just a couple days ago, the whole screen boom comes up from Microsoft saying we have till January 10th to install the Windows 10. I have Windows 7. Do I, if I did nothing
Yes.
at all, will I have no service, or do I lose like
No.
security? Or
Windows 7 will continue to work after January
Yeah.
15th or whatever it is. Just like Windows XP continues to work if you've got a old Windows XP program. The
It's just
problem
tech
is
support they're working on.
Microsoft sends out updates of two types. They send out features updates and they send out security updates.
Yeah.
They've already stopped sending features updates to Windows 7 some time ago, but they continue to send security updates to it. So you can continue to run it and it'll be safe. They will stop the security updates January 15th.
Well, that's what I wanted
Your
to
computer will still work
Yeah,
after that date, but you run the risk, particularly as time goes by, that you will have security holes in your Windows 7. The other piece of the puzzle is that you may or may not be able to upgrade your older computer to Windows 10 because they have certain hardware requirements. So you can, and there's also the issue that now you typically have to pay for that upgrade. I would probably recommend that you consider buying a new computer, but you could certainly explore the option of upgrading your.
Because it would already be installed for me, or Windows 10.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's probably what I have to do.
Along that line, the Microsoft store in Schaumburg, next to Nordstrom, will do a clean install of Windows 10 if you bring the computer in and buy the Windows 10 from them.
Just like Best Buy do all that stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they do it all.
Well, but the nice part of it is, you know, it's Microsoft installing their own product.
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay, and I have used them, and, you know, you leave your computer and you have to go back a day or two later, because they have a back room where they do this work, and they have a queue. So, you know, it's not instantaneous when you walk in, but they were very forthcoming and very easy to work with. And
That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, I see what
It
you're
really
saying.
is. Yeah, that's their version of the Apple Store, but they only have, I think, 2 of them here in Chicago area. I think one in Oak Brook and one in Schaumburg.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm in the process of moving, so but I can't tell you what I went through because I really don't know what all this stuff is. It's been so long since I had to get a new TV and decide who my internet provider is and who offers what. I thought I was going to lose my mind. It took me 5 hours of reading all this stuff, and then I finally found Tom'sGuide.com. I should maybe you know about it. But he explains everything like I wish when you call like all these other places and try to sell you everything. But, so I went with a Samsung TV and I went with that Sling, whatever.
Sling TV.
Yeah, and they only charge you $20 a month.
Right.
Sling TV, saving a ton of money. But it took all that time studying who offers what, and when you call these places to try to decide whether you want their service, they say, do you want this, do you want that, do you want that? They don't even know what they're talking about. And then you wind up with all this stuff you don't need, and then you get a $200 bill. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was a real education, but now I feel good because I do understand now. So that's good for me because I don't know much about it. I'm not technical.
Back to where Phil was talking about SSD drives and new computer. I just bought a brand new desktop, which is the one I have this Drobo drive hooked up to. And it came with an SSD 500 gig hard drive or SSD drive. Now the thing you have to realize that in a regular setup, your documents and your downloads and everything go to the drive, so you don't have that much space. Mine came with a 2 terabit hard drive in it. So what you want to do if you get something, if you have an extra drive, make sure you change your directories. Not to the SSD drive, but to whatever other drives you have. So it saves it to that because, 500 megs is not that much anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
This is a secondary computer for me. My main computer has a terabyte of hard drive. I bought this as a portable computer that I'm not going to store that much on.
Right.
So good point. But as prices come down, this is 500, so it's small. And as prices come down, you'll probably see the SSDs getting bigger.
The SSDs, I know, like I said, SanDisk has a 1 terabit SSD right now, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, it's, anybody have anything else, questions?
I have a computer. It's really a gaming computer I got at Best Buy a couple of years ago, and it does have the SSD drive. I think it's 500, whatever.
Next,
Yeah, and then I just have a terabyte for the regular hard drive. Really is not much, but one advantage of that SSD, boot the computer and it's up right away. You don't have to sit there and wait.
That's the main reason computers are going to SSD. My laptop I have up in front has an SSD drive in it. And it boots up in a heartbeat as compared to your older computer booting off Windows, where when you're talking about a mechanical hard drive as compared to a solid state hard drive, it boots up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it does.
JJ, you had another point?
One other thing here again, you want to grab that little bag up front, right in front of you there? Drobo comes with a nice little bag. Carry it around.
How much did you pay?
Are you gonna put all this down on the minutes of the sheet so we can rehash it when we go home and read it?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't remember everything they
Our
said.
historian will.
It will be in the newsletter.
All the notes are right here.
Oh, I like those. You made a mistake at the bottom.
The only thing problem is going to be the mechanism.
Yeah, because this is good information, and I don't have enough up here to get all the stuff that you said today. So I thought this was a good information meeting.
Catch the video.
It was.
Oh, the video?
Yeah. I videotape all the meetings.
Okay, I didn't have enough.
Go up on the website here again, look on the presentation, just find the video.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good enough for me.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Got one more question over there.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judy.
something came to an alarm went off on her computer.
Yeah.
It scared her pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah.
It says, press this button, and somebody said it. Yeah. She didn't touch it, it was okay, but sometimes, you know,
Yeah.
it's like alarm going off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Scams,
the scams are getting more and more creative and so forth. We have a member who got an email addressed to her, okay, saying that I know your password, and it mentioned a password to one of her accounts, okay? And I have gotten onto your computer, and I've gotten all the control on your computer, and I'm going to do all sorts of bad things unless you send me money. And the scary part was, this was an accurate password to her account, one of her accounts. And it was like, oh my God, he really is in my computer and so forth. And it turns out that there's a scam on this making the rounds that I won't go into all the details about, but it suggests that they see you watching porno and I've got all your contacts. And if you don't send me money, I will send all this information out to your friends and family about what you've been doing with your computer. And the answer was, it's baloney. What they're doing is, there's all these data breaches that you've heard about.
Yeah.
Well, chances are somewhere out there they've got your email address and your password for some website that's gotten breached. And so all they have to do is send this form email out to your email address with that password to make you think that, oh my gosh, they've gotten into my computer, but they haven't. But that's a way to scam you. This few years back, they're sending out scam emails regarding a package that was supposed to be delivered to you. Click here for details. We had problems delivering this package. Well, initially, it was just your name was never mentioned. There was no identifying information to make you believe this was valid. Well, they got smart enough that once again, through data breaches and so on, or using the common information that's out there in these search websites, now they could get your name and address. So now they put in this email to Philip Bach at 1113 Tiffany Lane, Libertyville, blah, 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 blah. We're trying to deliver this package to you, and you look at this and you say, oh, this must be legitimate because they have my name and address and all the rest of it. So they're getting smarter about putting this personal information into these scam emails. So, you know, it's read them over 2-3 times, don't click on the links that don't, you know, I mean, think very carefully before you respond to them. But I just want to let you know that that's yet another version of a scam, just like your friend had, to watch out for, where they say, I've got one of your passwords, I'm in your computer. No, chances are that that's just from a data breach somewhere else.
I got a question, is also these phone calls you get from Microsoft are still going on? This is Microsoft.
I will say this one more time, do not answer the telephone. Don't answer the telephone.